Joined now by an expert in urban warfare. Colonel John Spencer is the chair of urban warfare studies at the Modern War Institute at West Point Academy. He's the co-director of the Urban Warfare Project. Thanks so much for being with us, Colonel. We're learning now that this apparently 40-mile long Russian convoy that's headed to Ukraine has apparently stalled. There are signs that Russian troops are running out of food, possibly fuel. Is that surprising?
No, that's not surprising. The Russian military has shown on multiple levels, both with their plan and with their what we call readiness, or the health of their forces, that they overreached in what they're trying to do. So that's why they haven't been able to go as fast as they've wanted. They're overreaching how far they can go away from their logistical hubs, where all their supplies are. It's great. I love seeing it, but it's ridiculous how poor they are performing, which is what we want.
So how can Ukrainians then take advantage of this? Should they go on the offensive? Could they try to preemptively hit this convoy before the Russians are fully organized?
Yeah, and I think they're doing that, and we see that online. And you just mentioned about the javelins, all these longer range, if they're still not as long range, the TB2 drones. Yes, they should go on the offense, as in hit that convoy, since we know it's the main assault. Although they're trying to get through Kharkiv and bring other forces in to surround Kiev. But hit anything you can, as far away as you can, but also be prepared to use the urban areas, which is their advantage. They have immense advantage because they are the defenders.
And they have the courage. Ukrainians have the will, clearly, but they don't have the numbers. They don't have the kinds of resources, the weaponry, and so forth that the Russians have. The bombing in Kharkiv overnight that completely leveled that government building is just another example of what Ukraine is up against, right? If you are the commander of Ukraine's forces right now, how do you organize them to fight back in this next phase?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if I was on the ground, and, based on the study of urban warfare and all the historical examples on how a single city can be turned into a fortress, of course, at what we call a defense in depth, I would plan all of that as far out as I can, especially with this aid coming in with the Stingers, and contest the air domain, hit this convoy as far out as you can. But I'd have a huge part of my population, or my forces, my soldiers, and anybody willing to help, barricading and turning that city into a porcupine, a fortress, to where when and if Russia does make it there, they'll be stopped at the gates, and they'll have to fight this very vicious house-to-house fight, where it's called a meat grinder. It's historic. Russia is not bringing, although they're superior in military technologies, they're superior in numbers. Well, guess what? In the urban terrain, that doesn't matter. We call the urban terrain the great equalizer. I mean, look at history. Small amounts of enemy forces inside urban areas can delay an operation, delay losing. Because in this situation, as long as Kiev doesn't lose, they're winning. Because every moment Putin loses political backing, he loses the logistical support. They need to turn that city, every street, every alley, every window, into a death trap. So if I was on the ground, that's what I would be focusing a huge amount of my energy on, is preparing to defend Kiev.
What do you say to those people who are everyday Ukrainians who may be watching this? Because I look at your Twitter feed, and you have really useful advice for everyday Ukrainians about how they can try to protect themselves, where to hide, and types of weapons to sort of create. Talk to them right now. What can they do? What are they doing right? What can they do differently?
Yes. So if I could talk to them, the number one thing they need to do is get off the streets. Russia is their doctrine is to hit the cities with as much firepower, with rockets, artillery, everything. If they can be seen from the sky, then they're vulnerable. So that's my number one guidance. You got to get off the streets. And if you have a weapon and you're on the street, the firepower, the viciousness of this is coming. They can decide where they're going to be inside the buildings and pick the right buildings. A lot of those buildings can be turned into battlefields. They're concrete, reinforced steel. Even when they're hit with the most modern bomb, they can withstand it. So they have to decide on where they're going to be when this happens. Don't be on the streets. And other things, even if they don't want to take up arms, right? We don't want our civilians to have to fight, but in this situation, they're fighting for their lives. I would start, I would have them just building barriers, parking buses in the street, building I mean, this is classic Battle of Berlin, Paris, building up everything you can in all the streets. Turn this place into a maze of hell.
John Spencer, thank you very much for providing your expertise and insights here. Thanks for the time. Increasingly erratic, increasingly isolated.